Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, this is a horoscope for Scorpio. If Scorpio is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. All right, let's see what we have in the tea leaves. My second cup of coffee is starting to kick in. I'm a little goofy. And then I drink the tea on top of it, you guys, and I might get pretty goofy here. Whew, my goodness. Okay. We have a V. Let's start off with that one. So this is in the physical, kind of on the brim of the mental. This is somebody in your life. You've been thinking about them. So think about that V person going forward. That could be their name. That could be a job title or some kind of descriptive thing about them. Okay. Like they have velvety hair, whatever that means. My cat has velvety hair. She's a sphinx. Well, some of you have seen her. She feels like a little peach. Okay, so we also have an I. Okay, so there is also an I involved here somewhere. We have another V right here. So that's two V's. That's going to be important. That person somehow involved in this situation that we have going. We have to figure out what that is first, right? Also a large L, okay? And now the L, I feel like this is more of a, it's large, okay? But I think this is something, some kind of word, feeling, word, maybe your name, but it's something to do with you, okay? Something is going on that has, I don't know, like you need a lawyer or, you know, you need to get out and have a good laugh or something. I don't know. It could be like a synchronicity, a word that's repeating or showing up. It starts with an L. Okay, so I'm really feeling that. And so we have a V, we have an I, we have an L. And we have this shape right here. It looks like a peach. Okay. Now we know that the symbol of a peach in contemporary use, especially emojis, has to do with usually the body, right? If you can follow me, this is something that is used in maybe flirtation or, you know, maybe kind of like a sexy talk or something like that, okay? It also really is a fertility symbol, you know, it is because it is a tree that has been fertile. It has, the bees have been in there pollinating. It has, you know, grown its fruits. And now you have this beautiful, beautiful, meaty, juicy fruit that comes from it. Okay. So, this is a symbol of success, fertility, you know, kind of being at the prime of the creative process. Okay. Just really, really, you know, I don't know, like a glowing, beautiful specimen that comes from a lot of different processes that all come together and create this beautiful thing, right? Okay, so where this is located in the center of the bowl, this is the physical world, this is your daily life, this is all about you. So I feel like you've really been You know, and I say this in a lot of my things, but this is really what when I do my readings, I'm thinking about what are the kinds of things that you've been doing? What kind of hard work have you been doing? You know, in business, in creativity, in yourself, physically, you know, like, you know, self-improvement, whatever it is, healing, you know, working on trauma, all these things. These are the things that interest me about other people, about myself as well, about people in general. Okay. So these are the things I talk about a lot. And I think that you really have put a lot of effort into, you know, refinement of self. Okay. I think you're very into, not just your appearance. I mean, maybe you are very into your appearance, and that's great, if that's what you're into. But just also developing yourself in relation to how you perceive yourself and how you perceive people to perceive you. Okay. And that's a mouthful, right? So this is what is called like a meta perception. And this is like how we think that other people think about us or perceive us. Okay. And this is usually actually the driving force behind when we say, oh, you're, you know, getting fit to attract somebody, or, you know, or you start learning something because some person that you like, you know, you think, oh, they'll really, you know, think I'm so smart, or we'll have something that we'll have in common, and they'll find me so much more interesting. So these are kind of meta perceptions because you are anticipating how you believe they're going to think about you. Okay. So I think you've been working really hard in that realm. And, you know, that can be a touchy subject to really bring that up to somebody. Some people don't like to be, they don't like the light shone on the fact that they like to do themselves up for other people, or they, you know, have developed themselves so that they can attract other people. But let's be real about it. All of us do it. Most of what we do is to fit in to the people that, you know, we find of value, our social groups, our families, our, you know, our romantic interests, and so on. So, you know, it's just part of our instinct as beings, as animals, okay? And that's okay. So I'm not trying to pick on you. I just want you to know that. I see that you have done, you know, things that are not easy. Listen, I I understand, you know, a lot of work goes into becoming the person that you want to be. And sometimes some of that person that you want to be is for other people, and that's okay. You know, but ultimately, and this is really even further down the kind of rabbit hole of thinking, is that ultimately we're really doing it for ourselves. Okay? It really does all come back to what we truly want. Okay. So I just think that this has been a great success for you. And I think that you are attracting people. I think that this is working for you. And things are going your way. And it doesn't necessarily have to be sexually, doesn't have to be romantically. This could be within your field of work, your creative spaces. Maybe you are some kind of, you know, social media creator or content creator. I couldn't think of the word. Here I am making content and I can't think of the phrase. But you are really in your flow with it, okay? And this power of attraction that you have through this work that you have been doing intentionally is working out for you. So that's great. That's awesome. And now I want to look at this. This is interesting because now on this side, this looks like a beetle, okay? And I think it's I always mix them up, the rhino and the scarab beetle. But either way, it's a beetle with the large, they look like pinchers, okay? And this, for me, is always related to that creator force, the origin of the universe, or the perceivable universe, by this beautiful beetle rolling up the dung from the primal material, or from the original materials, and then rolling it across the sky. Okay, and this is related to the god Kefri, and this is the morning sun. Okay, the beginning of the sun, kind of crawling up from beneath, coming into the sky, rolling towards that high noon position. Okay, and so this is about renewal. This is about that beautiful young virility, that power, a real desire to create, to build life, just to really, indulge in the sensations of life, because they're so new, bright, immediate. There's a lot of awe and wonder going on, okay? And I feel like you, with this confidence that you have gained through this work you've been doing for yourself and for the things that you want, it's seeming to be pretty successful for you. You're getting this kind of like, just, like new energy flowing through you, new ideas coming through, just really excited to get up and do things in the morning, right? So I think really this is a good sign that in the next, while, as this is continuing to, you're continuing to feel these intense kind of energies, inspirations, and just being propelled forward, I would go ahead and set up some things in the morning, in the early morning, if you get up in the early morning, or whenever you get up, it doesn't matter. And do things like some meditation, some breath work, some writing, painting if you paint, or whatever kind of creative outlet you have. You don't have to be an artist by trade or have any deep interest in art. That's okay. But I think just making this kind of a ritual within your routine to create something or write down some ideas. Okay, this is a good time for that, because I feel like you have a lot of that beautiful life force really coming through you. It's brand new, and I think that you could really kind of point it into a direction that you will be creating some wonderful things. And, just kind of tuck that stuff away for later on if you start to feel like you're lacking some inspiration, and just look over some of the things that you've done during this period. And that might really help jumpstart that feeling again when it's begun to wane a little bit. Now, let's see. Uh-oh. No, don't come up here. Here he comes. He does not listen to me, this boy. All right. So, I gotta find a place to put my bowl. So you know what? I'm gonna have to stop this for a second. Okay. I gotta get back into it a little here. Okay, so we have this beautiful crab, hands up, kind of in almost, I want to say fighting kind of posture, maybe distressed a little bit. In relation to in relation to the things that are going on for you, I feel like somebody in your life, and this might be that V person, it might be the I, or probably not the L though, because the L, like I said, I think has to do with you in particular. But I think that somebody might be a water sign, might be a Cancer because of the crab, okay? But this might be somebody who is just has the qualities of, you know, that would go along with a Cancer person or with a water sign person, okay? This person seems to be probably very close to you, a family member, a romantic partner, or like a best friend type of position in your life. And they've kind of they have this feeling of kind of being real flippant, kind of jealous, almost kind of like, I don't know, like they're annoyed to see you succeeding in the things that you've put your mind to and, you know, your efforts in. I feel like they almost had this feeling that like, oh, here we go again with these, you know, oh, you're going to do this. Oh, you're going to do that. Okay, well, you know, sure, we'll see when we see. But then you really have started to meet your goals and surpass them. And this person almost seems like they're kind of really ticked off about it. Like they don't even give you a chance to talk about it with them. Like they're not supportive. They're not answering your texts. Maybe they're not answering your phone calls. And maybe they're kind of even a little bit like dismissive or like backhanded about their compliments and support. And so I feel like there's just kind of a really kind of, it feels crappy, right? Like it just has this icky kind of, I don't know, like kind of like, hey, you've seen me struggling before. I finally am doing what I really need to do. I'm really becoming successful in the things that I'm doing. And now where are you? Like you're only here when there's bad news. Okay, and I feel like that's kind of the vibe with this person. And they're like right in the middle here. So it feels like this is definitely somebody who is core to your life. And so I'm sorry, I feel bad that you're dealing with that because that sucks. That's such a terrible feeling when somebody, you know, they're just, and it's almost like, it could almost be like a one-upper type of thing, right? So they're just like constantly trying to belittle like your successes with whatever they have going on. And so I don't know. I think that just feels, it doesn't feel good. But I also see this figure here and they're on the move. It doesn't look like, I just get this feeling of, you know, you're not going to let anything kind of bring you down right now, but you are taking note, right? Like you aren't going to, you know, get in the pits because of them, but you're not going to forget that this is how you were kind of treated, like when you were on your ascent, okay? And, you know, it's like that old saying, misery loves company. So when, you know, you're, when you're on the struggle in any way, any sort of way, and you have a friend or family or whatever, and you're bonded through that on some level, of course they're going to hate to see you doing better, you know, because then they have to do better. Or, you know, who's going to like dwell in that old energy with them if you're, you know, kind of like maybe they're feeling like you're going to abandon them or whatever, or, you know, surpass them, forget about them. Or they're just like really insecure person, you know, and it's like they want to be the one doing better. There's no room for anybody else to do well. And there unfortunately are a lot of people like that. And it's amazing in life, right? When you find out that's what somebody's really like, especially if they've been like fairly covert about it. But it happens, and you just got to think it's no sweat off my back. You're just gonna keep going, okay? And when you get to the top, maybe they're not invited. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, right? Let's see what else. And I can't remember if I said this at the beginning. I'm starting to get pretty sick here. I think. I don't know. All these, my daughter, she has all these functions and stuff, and classes and things, and I'm around all these little toddlers and their runny noses, and oh my goodness, I try my best. I think I did. I said I was taking elderberry, I believe. But yeah, so I just all of a sudden feel these waves of like, oh my goodness, I don't feel good. Okay, so now I'm also seeing this, and I kind of was turning it, and I was like, oh, okay, so that person, we were talking about the crab person, I almost wonder if that is a romantic partner or like an ex, because there's the heart, but it's jagged too. So whoever this is, they're like a little bit low-key a hater. I think that they just, I don't know. It's amazing though sometimes that, I'm going over this again. I just was saying this. I'm not going to say it again. But yeah, it's hard to find out that people don't support you through, your good times and sometimes your bad times. Let's see. I wanted to look at this card, actually. And I just wanted to kind of talk about it for a second. This is the card that I pulled for the reading before I started the reading. And it says the deluge, okay? And what is a deluge? That is like flooding. It's a monsoon, just so much water you cannot believe, okay? Just devastating somewhere, and usually somewhere where there's not often, rain like that. So there's extensive flooding. And really, on a spiritual level, as far as symbolism goes, this is kind of, I would say it's similar. The concept is similar to the tower in some ways. This is like an occurrence that will basically wash away everything. Think about like a spiritual tsunami, okay? Everything will be flooded, underwater, crumbled, washed away, okay? Destroyed. And, but on the other side of that, this is the beginning, the end, the very end, and the beginning of a new beginning, right? So this is also a sign of absolution, purification, cleansing, getting rid of those old things that do not serve us. But it's also probably a painful, scary situation or process, okay? This could have something like drowning, right? And that's the water, right? So when I pulled this, I was like, okay, this is maybe going to be a difficult read, but I think that you've already gone through this, kind of. I think maybe the last month, 2 months, it's been hard. I feel like there's had to have been feeling like your head is underwater, but depressive feelings of loss, loneliness, alienation, not really knowing what to do. Okay. But in those things being kind of torn away from you, or whatever is being torn away from you, and these terrible feelings that come along with that, there's been some amount of release and kind of being able to like be like, okay, now my head's above water a little bit. I can take a deep breath, a little bit lighter. The water's receding, and now I begin again. Okay. And I think that has to do with maybe why you've been doing this work and really thinking about like, what do I want in my future? What do I want it to look like? What, maybe your career field is not fulfilling. Maybe your lifestyle is not fulfilling. Maybe, your relationships are not fulfilling. Maybe, whatever it is. Okay. But you have taken the steps because of something maybe that's happened. I don't know if it's one event or it's kind of like things have like were adding up and getting, stacking up, and it was getting to be too much. Okay. And there's a bit of a spiritual, maybe, emotional period of time where things were really difficult for you, but you're coming out of it, and you're actually, it feels like you're pretty much out of that and flourishing, beginning to flourish, beginning to really get to some of those places that you've dared to envision for yourself. And it's kind of creating some problems with the old things, with the old people. And this is what we're talking about with this crab person. Okay. And maybe you are ready to leave them behind. I'm not going to say if you should, I don't know, but maybe you're having some of those thoughts. Maybe this person doesn't fit into this vision I have of my life going forward. Okay. And that's difficult, but when somebody treats you terribly, especially when you're, doing better, you have to ask, like, well, why would they treat me like it's almost like, do they only want to be with somebody that's suffering, or that they can kind of like control because that person is suffering, or, or are they just a person that needs to have a project or care for somebody? You know what I mean? And so this is kind of the energy that I get. And I think this is kind of the question and really why this reading is happening, because I think that this is on your mind. Okay. And now let me look and see here. Okay, so we have these 4 little dots, and for me those mean 4 weeks. Okay, I think in the next 2 weeks, 1, 2, something really is going to start showing itself for you. Okay, so something is coming to be manifested, coming together. You have a project, you're starting a business, whatever it is. Something is really, really aligning with your will and intent, and it's manifesting. So we're seeing that sprout. Okay, and then the 2 weeks after that, I don't see much of, a big event happening, but that doesn't mean that it's going backwards or anything has failed. It just means that you're working on whatever kind of has shown itself. Okay. So I think you're really going to get into whatever you've been working on. Okay. And or if it's a hobby or, whatever interests you have, or work or relationship, however that is manifesting, that's going to be, again, in the next 2 weeks. Okay. And then for 4 weeks altogether, you're really going to be just hyper focused on that, I think. Okay. And then down here, and I want to see if we can see this way, we have this little serpent. Okay. And kind of almost a little serpent here. And yeah, sometimes the serpent is kind of a ominous symbol to see. For me though, especially in this situation here, I think that this is all about knowledge, gaining some perspective, you know, the universe bestowing upon you the choice to have some clarity about a difficult situation. And so if you choose to know, it might, you know, it might make things harder for you a little bit, because sometimes we want to, you know, just live our lives not really knowing, because it's, you know, when you find out something that's hard, then you got to act upon it, right? You can't unsee something, basically. So I think that's the choice that you're going to have to make, okay? And that's going to be soon. And I see 1, 2. So maybe this is in line with those 2 weeks. This could be in the next 2 months. And really just making a decision about that, which way you're going to go, okay? And so, yeah, I really think that's the reading today for you. And, you know, there's some things that are a little... There's some things that aren't like super positive, but overall, this is, I feel like, a very positive read, because I feel like you are really just doing it. Okay, Scorpio, you are really in it. You're doing it. You're going to have to, you know, deal with some of that older stuff. And I understand that's hard. But you're going to be okay. And, you know, I think that you're a very strong person. And I just want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm always so honored to be able to bring these messages to you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. And like the video. If this resonated with you, go ahead and I'm sorry, my cat's meowing in the back. And he threw me off a little bit there. Anyways, yes, like, subscribe, leave a comment. I love hearing from you. I'm always so honored to get those comments, messages, requests for private readings. I've had a lot of fun doing those recently. And yeah, so thank you. And I will see you again in 12 days. In the meantime, you can look at your other placements, the videos that coincide with your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising. I know people are looking at their Venus and so on too. Okay, thank you so much.